Anti-Semitism, the prejudice, discrimination against, and the hatred of the Jewish people. This phenomenon has mutated over history. In the Middle Ages, the Jews were persecuted because of their religion. In the 19th and 20th century, the Jews were hated because of their race. And nowadays, the Jewish people face attacks because of the existence of their national homeland, the State of Israel. In a similar manner, the justification of anti-Semitism has also changed. In the Middle Ages, it was religion. In the 19th and 20th century, it was the scientific study of man. And in the 21st century, it is human rights. And in the last decades, it's become very clear that the new form of anti-Semitism is anti-Zionism. And basically that means the opposition to the self-determination of the Jewish people in their national ancestral homeland. So the important question, of course, is how can we detect the modern form of anti-Semitism? And I would suggest that there's a very useful tool that's called the 3 Ds. And the first of those 3 Ds is delegitimization. And basically it means Israel has no right to exist. The second D is double standard. And that means the State of Israel is singled out for harsh criticism of various things that are looked upon as inevitable or acceptable in other states. In other words, you have different standards for different situations. And the third D is demonization. And that means that the State of Israel is depicted as truly evil. And absurd claims are made against Israel, claims of genocide, of crimes against humanity, of apartheid, and of ethnic cleansing. So these 3 tools, whenever one of these 3 Ds, either delegitimization, demonization, or a double standard can be seen, we know that anti-Semitism is prevalent and is there.
Okay, so one of the 3 Ds that we discussed was the double standard issue, and this is we have experienced in Israel a few times, and we are experiencing it usually whenever a conflict rises or something happens, and that's to do with the Western world, the media, different people that are really looking at Israel and applying standards when looking at different issues that they would never apply to themselves. Meaning, for instance, let's go 3 years back and go to the time of the Protective Edge, the operation in Gaza. It all started when first missiles were making their way into Israel, putting in harm's way Israeli citizens and falling on Israeli territory. And actually it seemed like some of the world was expecting for Israel to do nothing, which is funny because put any other country, put any other people's group in that situation, and you can refer to many incidents in history, most countries will retaliate, and even retaliate in such a way that will give their enemy no reason to ever do it again. The fact is that Israel retaliates, and even when it retaliates, it tries to do everything not to harm citizens, as sending the SMSs and distributing the leaflets from the airplanes, and giving personal phone calls, letting people to evacuate the place, actually putting Israel's soldiers in more danger than they would have if Israel would have never said anything and they still had the issue of surprise when the soldiers actually go in without anybody knowing. So quite funny to put Israel in such a double standard, but it's still happening, and it's something that is happening whenever such an occasion rises up. For us to really see in our own countries with the media and really have a look with fresh eyes, dig deeper, get to know the situations without just looking whatever people are telling us as for granted. Thank you.
I used to believe what the media told about Israel, that they kill innocent civilians. But actually, now I know the truth. For example, in the Gaza Strip, they drop leaflets to warn the people that there's going to be war in this particular zone, and they try to evacuate as many people as possible. That I didn't know before. So for me, I think we need to inform ourselves more. We need to get to know the truth to stop the unrighteousness against Israel.
As we have heard, anti-Semitism is still present today, and it endangers our democratic societies. In order to ensure that another Holocaust is never to happen again, we need to take responsibility and make a choice of how we behave and how we combat anti-Semitism. Two things are very important for this. First of all, we need to be informed. We need to have a bigger context in order to interpret current events into that. So we need to inform ourselves not just through our media, especially in the European environment, but also get the angle of the Israeli perspective. And then secondly, we need to have our own personal experiences. Once we've experienced something personally, we can really stand for it authentically because we believe in it. So I want to invite you just to come to Israel, meet Holocaust survivors, meet Arabs, meet Jews, ask them all your questions, and then believe in the answers they've given to you and become a real ambassador for Israel today. So welcome.